Hey guys, hope you're doing great today. So I want to talk to you, which is obviously what I'm doing right now, about the relationship between shame, toxic shame, and blushing. So, firstly, the reason why that's massively important is because often we feel overwhelmed by blushing and it's an incredibly painful experience, but we don't really understand why. And when you don't understand why, it's difficult to really connect the dots in a way that makes the problem solvable and clear. So, shame in itself, what is it? Shame's an emotion, yep, and it's emotion that's supposed to stop us experiencing too much excitement, too much over the top fun. If that makes sense, if I'm too excitable and do too weird things, people look at me and I feel shame and I'm like, oh, I should withdraw it and held it back a bit. Yeah. And the same with overexcitement or fun or silliness. It's supposed to kind of limit us. And that's when children tend to feel it. We tend to feel a bit of shame, a bit of embarrassment, a bit of a bit of uncomfortableness, and it makes us socially aware of how we should behave and how we shouldn't behave. But toxic shame is a very different thing. Toxic shame is when we've lived in an environment or you grew up in an environment, yeah, where we were kind of forced to feel shame over natural healthy expressions. Yep. So imagine there's me being over the top and feeling a little bit of shame and calming it down. But perhaps then we're in an environment, yeah, where we're forced to feel shame just for being angry, just for feeling upset, just for feeling hurt, just for being not that good at things. Or perhaps our parents or teachers or peers are projecting their own issues onto us and attacking us, making us feel shame, making us feel bad for just normal, healthy human expression. And this is something that happens to most people. Obviously, it's much more severe and much worse when people experience trauma or severe neglect. And I'm not kind of lowering that or not taking that into account. Yeah, but we all, to a degree, experience far too much shame just expressing ourselves naturally and healthily, especially in the peer group culture. So when we go to school, what happens is it dumbs down everyone. Yeah, not academically, but it dumbs down everyone in terms of the normal, healthy, vibrant way we express ourselves is pretty weird, it's pretty strange, it's pretty odd, and we all do strange, weird, odd things. When we're in that environment, everyone's watching, everyone withholds everything, yet withholds themselves down to the point where they don't do anything that makes them stand out at all. They don't do anything that's strange, odd, weird, which includes just expressing emotions, feeling hurt, feeling angry, feeling upset, repressing all our emotions. Yeah. And we do all these different things. And what it creates is toxic shame. Toxic shame, where we kind of learn in ourselves that all these natural, healthy, normal expressions, parts of ourselves are wrong. Yep. And that shame, that's just a healthy emotion that's designed to just help us be as slightly aware of when we're being over the top. We begin to feel all the while. Yep. All the while. And then we begin to almost, it creates a compass for our life. Yeah. Where toxic shame is when people begin to feel it consistently throughout the whole day at different points. And that becomes the way they navigate their entire life. So I can't do that because I'll feel shame. I can't do that because I'll feel shame. I can't do that and I'll feel shame. So this totally healthy emotion that's designed to just help give us some awareness over a very small aspect of our life begins to be something that really globally dictates our whole life. And then what happens? Yeah, well, we did begin to choose to take actions to avoid anything that could trigger our shame. So we begin to become really avoidant, perhaps anxious, perhaps nervous. But then, yeah, perhaps some people are really high achievers. Some people dress really nicely. Some people do all these different things just to try and not feel that shame. But here is the issue. What happens if one day we blush and we feel massively embarrassed in front of people? Well, blushing and embarrassment is a normal reaction where we would feel a sense of shame. But if someone has toxic shame, when they blush, when they're embarrassed, all of these feelings rise to the surface and it becomes incredibly painful, incredibly overwhelming. And their normal coping mechanisms of being avoidant, people pleasing, being successful, avoiding things, whatever it is, no longer works. It traps them. It traps them in a place where suddenly all these horrible feelings come up, shameful feelings, guilty feelings, horrible feelings, feelings linked to the most traumatic, painful, neglectful, abusive moments throughout their whole life randomly comes up when they're just at work having a conversation and when they're just out and about doing different things. It's really difficult. It's really overwhelming, guys, isn't it? But today I just really wanted to point that out to you. Yep. That the reason why very often it's so painful, it's so overwhelming is simply that. Yep. Toxic shame throughout any of the most horrible, difficult, challenging moments, deepest insecurities, conflicts, painful issues from your whole life arises to the surface when you experience blushing, and that's why very often it's such a painful and uncomfortable, difficult experience to have. Cool, guys. Hope that really helped you. Take care. Bye.